You can start now.
I can start now. Hello?
Yes, you can start.
All right. Thank you, Gustav. Good afternoon to everybody who's on this, online event. First of all, a big thank you to all the organizers and everybody else who's made this happen. Would have been great if we could have all caught in person, but it is what it is, and it'll make the best of what we have. My name is Dilip. I take care of global sales and strategy for a company called Gift. And Gift is a market leader in customer loyalty and engagement solutions. A whole lot of words there, but very simply, what we do is we enable brands have more meaningful and contextual conversations with their customers. So it's a post-lunch session, so I will keep it really light. I'm sure everybody is coming back after a meal, so I won't put you to sleep. So what I'm going to focus on is just talk about loyalty and all the elements that make up loyalty, because loyalty means so many different things to different people. So the idea was what really leads to loyalty, what is loyalty, and probably a few more things. And I think every one of us are obviously members of some loyalty program or the other, and I'm sure a session like this will evoke certain emotions where we are happy about some of the brands we work with. We will identify with some of the things that brands do and brands don't. So let me start by probably talking about the state of loyalty today, and then we go from there. So today I think there are a million brands out there, and there are a million messages that come out every day. So anybody to say that I have a loyal customer is really a stretch. And I think as we go deeper into the session and a few other things, we'll realize why it is so difficult to achieve that final goal of having a loyal customer within our portfolio. But on a lighter vein, this is the state of affairs today. And I think the picture kind of says it all, because you clearly see Ronald McDonald there going in for a bean burger or whatever it is he's doing. But I think this is just to underline the point that loyalty is difficult to say that anybody can say that I have a loyal customer. Maybe we talk about Apple as one of those examples where they do it better than most people, but this is the state of affairs. And I think this is particularly true, what you see here, because every single customer is a part of so many loyalty programs today where, you almost think, is the whole concept of loyalty dead? Because if I'm a member of 20 different programs, then by default, I'm not loyal to anybody, or I'm loyal to 20 brands, which kind of, sounds funny. But I think this is the state of affairs, and this is the backdrop against which businesses are trying to, survive today. So I think if I were to go further, what is customer loyalty? Because loyalty means different things to different people. And I want to talk about why loyalty matters, because yes, it is hard to achieve. Yes, it is challenging, but it is not something that we can ever ignore. And I think that's the nature of what it is. So very simply, I think, loyalty is about choosing a particular brand over all others. And not because it's convenient or cheaper, because it is a brand that has made efforts to, engage with the customer and build a real relationship. And I think that probably is, as simple an explanation as what we can give. And why does it matter? I think that's more important. Yes, I mean, that's what loyalty is. And if I take some figures of, loyalty programs worldwide, so most customers are almost 80% of customers, and that's a lot of customers really. And they believe that they would probably, all things being equal, shop with a brand which has a loyalty program versus somebody who does not. Now, I think that in itself is quite a strong endorsement of the fact that we all need loyalty programs, because before we even get to whether a loyalty program is good, bad, or ugly, I think customers have made up their minds that yes, if you have a loyalty program, I will definitely come and consider you. Talk about sales and all of that a little later, but I will consider you. And I think it's a great starting point. And I think the other thing which is quite important is Once they're part of a loyalty program, 80% of customers who are part of programs are most likely to continue working with brands. Today, if you look at attrition rates across industry, it ranges from 5% all the way to 25 or 30%. And I think the fact that there is a loyalty program out there where customers have actively earned rewards, and how innovative the program is will determine how long the customer stays with them, but we'll get to that separately. But I think important statistics here: 80% of customers want to do business with the same brands if they have a loyalty program. And here's the kicker, right? 66% of these customers are more than happy to modify their spend to maximize their benefit, which means that they're happy to change their behavior because you're rewarding that change. I think these are very interesting facts. And considering that we are talking about bankers and most people related to banks in the session, what does it do for the credit card spend? I'm talking about credit card particularly because most of us associate a loyalty program with a credit card. So a very compelling story here. Imagine a customer who is not part of a loyalty program, who has a credit card with a brand, and somebody who is part of a loyalty program but has never redeemed his points. Even there, the fact that the customer is part of a program, he spends typically 50% more than a customer who is not part of a loyalty program. Now, when we talk about customers who are redeeming their points and using their loyalty rewards effectively, the difference between a customer not enrolled in a program and a customer who's enrolled in a program and is redeeming for low ticket items, let's say it could be a supermarket voucher, it could be a gift card, it could be a telephone top up. Between those two, you almost see a 3x multiplier in terms of usage of the particular card. And when you go one step further and make it more experiential, when I get that free ticket, when I get that free iPhone because I did a lot of transactions with my bank, then that really seals the deal because this customer is worth 5 regular customers. And I think this is exactly why everybody wants to be involved in loyalty. Everybody wants to ensure that they invest into loyalty, because even if you can get 15 or 20% of your customers to do this, you will probably double the revenue. And I think that's a great way of talking about loyalty and why it makes sense. What I want to do is share a few more facts in the spirit of keeping everything more visual and lighter today. What breeds loyalty? And I think this is really the $1,000,000 question. And I recently had a conversation with a bank, and the bank said, I really want to have a loyalty program. And I said, why do you want a loyalty program? Because they said, my customers are attriting and I want to control my attrition, and loyalty will help me get there. And I said, I really don't think it's as simple as that. I mean, if that was the silver bullet, then every single company who has a loyalty program would retain all of their customers. So what really leads to loyalty? And I think it's very important for us to understand that loyalty is not a silver bullet. Loyalty is something that can make things happen towards the end, as long as your hygiene factors are taken care of. And when I say hygiene factors, if you have a bad product, no amount of money spent on loyalty will get you anywhere. The product has to have quality. It should be value for money. There should be a consistent delivery or consistent performance of a product, easy to shop, easy to select, great pricing. So all these hygiene factors are super important. And increasingly, we see companies mindlessly going into loyalty and saying, I want to do a loyalty program, either because I have a set of competitors who are already doing loyalty, or because customers are leaving and I'm too busy to figure out why they're leaving. Let me just blame it all on not having a loyalty program. So I think this is super important. Having a great set of hygiene factors is super important to develop the concept of loyalty. And this has to be coupled with something even more important, which is what customers want. And what customers want, very simply, and I'm keeping it super simple because there are a million things customers want, but looking at various research, various experiences we've had running programs globally for lots and lots of banks, what we see is customers want flexibility, they want personalization, they want contextualization of their loyalty offering, which means they want to know, they want to see, how do I get my rewards? How easy is it for me to get my rewards? How many types of rewards can I get? Is it just I use my credit card and shop and I get rewards? or do I get rewards for other kinds of behavior as well when I'm checking into your Facebook page as a brand, when I'm dropping a comment on the Instagram feed of a brand, referring people, talking positively about the brand. And then, of course, once they achieve their points, they need to have an ability to redeem their points in the easiest ways possible. Everything today is a click away or a tap away. And I don't think loyalty should be doing anything differently. So it's equally important for everybody to understand that it's about having a great set of hygiene factors, which are super important, and loyalty is not a replacement for that. And on top of that, making sure that you have sensible conversations with your clients. Every single client has a different need. How do you cater to this vast community of customers with disparate needs through platforms that can effectively, learn about your customers, achieve a certain degree of cognitive engagement, and then contextual engagement as well? So I think, I'm just trying to demystify, the loyalty world and keep it, as straightforward and simple as possible. But of course, at the end of the conversation, I'm happy to have as many conversations with as many people about, ideas and share thoughts as well. Now, again, going into this, more interesting statistics. I think as bankers, we've all known this for almost all our life, and everybody talks about it. I think we all know it costs more to gain a new customer. Now, the 6 to 7x was probably true a few years ago, but today I think we are talking about a much higher cost of acquiring the new customer, because competition in 10 or 15 years ago for banks was a lot limited. Today, competition comes from the most unlikely sources. It could be a telco, it could be an e-commerce company, it could be just about anybody. So I think it's more costlier. And here's the kicker. We just briefly talked about it earlier. A 5% increase in retention, depending on the industry, can achieve a 25 to 95% uplift in terms of profitability. And I think all of these, simply go back to the fact that it is super, super important to focus on loyalty. But before we focus on loyalty, it's equally important to see, what does the brand stand for? Do we offer a product that is sensible? Have we given the customer the right set of, propositions that will make them interested to think of us? And then loyalty comes in to, strengthen the overall, proposition to the user. Now, again, very interesting statistics when customers talk about loyalty and customers experience loyalty. Every time customers redeem their product, it has been our experience that, almost 20 to 25% of our customers want to post this on, social media, almost to say they have bragging rights, in some ways, to say, hey, I've transacted with this bank for so long, I got a free ticket, or I got a free iPhone, irrespective of the fact that they can buy 10 tickets on their own or 20 iPhones. But the fact that, they were recognized by a bank as a premium member, and the fact that they were able to reward the customer so handsomely, customers want to put it up on social media. The irony here is 80% of loyalty programs today have nothing to do with social media, because a customer redeems and that's about it. There is no avenue for the customer to express his happiness or express his, feedback. So today, the new age loyalty programs, make sure that the customer has an ability to post their redemption events on social media, talk about the fact that they've got some great rewards. And these are all stories that the brand wants, because the brand wants to be spoken about in the best possible light. And nothing better than an engaged customer saying, hey, look at me, I'm just like you, and I won a great prize with the bank because I chose to interact with the bank a little more often than most of the other people. And then customers who are redeeming leave positive reviews, they discuss their experience with others, and they invariably make the next purchase quicker, because the next transaction that they want to do, they're thinking of you first, because they just got their dream holiday or their iPhone from you, or whatever it is that they got. So I think very interesting, and these are things that are constantly in our vision as loyalty practitioners, and we see this intensively and extensively happening today. Now, with all of these, I think now we get into, the interesting part of, yes, loyalty is great, yes, loyalty is good, but why does loyalty not work all the time? And when I talk to bankers today, most loyalty programs hover, at a redemption rate of 20 to 25%, which to me is quite shocking, because, the fact that even a 5% increase in your loyal base could lead to a multiplier of almost 25 to 50% on profitability. Why are we not able to get more customers engaged? Why are customers not more actively spending on their loyalty programs, redeeming on their loyalty programs and whatnot? Which leads us to the big challenge of what leads to this challenge, right? Why do customers not redeem? Why are loyalty programs failing more often than they succeed? So this is where it's super important to talk about what customers think about it. Now, these are all years of research. These are things that we have seen. These are things that we have read about from other programs, not necessarily the ones Gift manages ourselves. Now, what we have seen is 50% of customers are never active in a program. And when I say never active, they might be earning points, but at no point of time in their life cycle have they even bothered to redeem. And that's because of a few reasons. The first thing which everybody talks about is it takes too long to earn rewards because I spend thousands of dollars. At the end of it, I get enough for a ballpoint pen, for example. I mean, that's really a bad example, but you do have those instances from time to time. But most importantly, while every customer always wants more, let's say, that 54% is just the greedy customer, right? Who wants everything. But when we talk about the rest, I think this is where the controllable aspects of the program come in, because 50% say, I didn't get the reward I'm interested in. 36% says, you kept bugging me with all kinds of communication and everything got lost. The real message got lost in the, sea of other communication that came in. And this is because everything is a one size fits all approach. Let's send an SMS and hope that, customers, find it engaging. It doesn't happen anymore. And communications were irrelevant. So this part is where engagement becomes very, very important. Hence the topic, why, engagement is the key to loyalty. So what is customer engagement? Again, I mean, different things to different people. Several examples. The easier one is ongoing interaction between company and customer. The other thing is, the degree and depth of interaction against a clearly defined set of goals. At every point, you see that interaction word, which is quite common. Now, what we have coined is, very simply actively interacting with your audience, not just interacting. An SMS is interaction, but an SMS on the birthday of the customer or the anniversary of the customer is a active interaction with the customer at a time where the customer has some emotions and you're feeding off on those emotions. And the message to the customer should interest the customer or educate the customer or motivate them to have a conversation with the bank or with the client. So typically, the classic example we talk about is somebody takes a new credit card. And it is very important when the customer takes a new credit card that you have the right conversation until the credit card becomes a habit and a part of the customer's lifestyle. And most of the time, the messaging is around, hey, you got your card, here's your welcome pack, which every other customer under the sun gets. Now you make what you want out of it and you enjoy your program. That's typically what happens. But what we are looking at is, can we get one step deeper? Can we understand the customer's needs and requirements better? And through proper engagement, can we send the right message at the right time, every time to the user? And I think that's essentially why customer engagement is, really, really important. Otherwise, loyalty is a great tool to have. It's a very nice investment that you have made, but it really won't fetch you the results you're looking for. Now, again, I go back to the fact that just saying, okay, I will talk to the customer, I have an engagement strategy is not enough. I want to just leave this slide on for 30 seconds for people to read through it. And this is unfortunately the reality today. Yes, we are investing a lot of money on digitization. We're investing money on automating our marketing efforts and all of that. But somewhere along the line, the core elements of what the customer needs tend to get forgotten. Now, everything that we are talking about, whether it's engagement or loyalty, depends on hygiene factors being managed well by the brands. And this is another example of making sure that you charted out a customer's journey well. You stood in the queues that you asked the customers to stand in. You use the products you ask your customers to use so that you know exactly what the problem is. And then, if you got all those elements right from a customer's perspective, then loyalty and engagement will really up the ante and take the portfolio in a great direction. So knowing your customer is super important. And without knowing the customer, no amount of engagement is relevant. And KYC today has unfortunately become a regulatory checkbox instead of really looking at how can we use data efficiently with customers. Now, it is true that a lot of people are using data more efficiently with a lot of automation and AI tools that are coming in, a steep amount of machine learning which has been deployed already. But a majority of customers still don't understand their users very well. So I just want to quickly spend probably 30 seconds on this. You have essentially two types of customers. If we just bring it down to two typical segments, you have settlers who are probably customers who are easier to maintain. They tend to stick with the same brand for longer. They have a little more forgiveness in them when something goes wrong, and they prefer face-to-face relationships. They would tend to know a branch manager somewhere. They tend to know the sales guy, so from time to time there is a call, and they like that. And then you have the new gen, and these people simply don't have the time or the energy to bother talking to anybody. Everything should be at their fingertips. And tomorrow, when you run a campaign, if the campaign does not reach them on the mobile or on social media, the campaign's as good as dead. So it's very important to understand who the customer is and then start talking to the customer in channels and ways that the customer is looking to talk. Now, if we look at a typical customer life cycle from discovery all the way to being an active advocate of a particular brand, it's very important from a life cycle perspective to also make sure the messaging is captured at the right instance. When we talk about potential customers, I think it's very important to make sure that either we are present where they go or we go where they're present. And I think that's really says it all, because you can't live in the previous philosophy of build and they will come anymore. Nobody comes anymore unless you really give them compelling reasons to. So I think that's very, very important during the discovery process. So the customer sees you where they're already present, whether it's social media, whether it's on popular e-commerce sites and all of that. And they are talking to you there because they're already spending lots of hours on those platforms. And the second thing is customers today might start a journey on their mobile and end it on the desktop, or they might start it on the desktop, end it on their WhatsApp. So it's super important to have omni-channel access to customers. I don't want to talk about omni-channel. The word's being done to death. Everybody talks about it. But it's super important when a customer is reviewing whether he wants to purchase a product or evaluating a product, that he has access to reach information in a variety of ways. Great options would be peer reviews, comparison sites where customer tends to see independent evaluations, and that goes a long way in giving comfort to the customer. During the buying process, how easy can you make the process? If it's a customer who requires face-to-face interaction, how easily can the customer call for a salesperson to talk to him or her? Or if it is digital, can he self-onboard or can she self-onboard effortlessly on the platform? And then we talk about the experience. We spoke about the 2190 rule. It's really important to understand that. It takes about 21 days to build a habit. And I think we've got lots and lots of gyms who actively preach this to us. Clearly, I don't follow any of that. So anyway, another story. And then you have a 90-day window where if a customer is consistently engaged for a 90-day period, you tend to have a better chance of being part of the lifestyle of the customer. So I think that's very important, constantly defining what you want to achieve from the customer and making sure that you can measure the responses, reward the responses, and repeat it. And then once the customer is a bona fide customer of the company from a lead to a customer, the customer needs to now have a great product experience, and help should always be a click away. Information should always be a click away. And then finally, once the customer is actively transacting, the brand, let's say the bank in this case, would reward the customer for profitable transactions and profitable behavior. And I think if we look at this entire life cycle in its form, then there is a better chance of converting customers into brand ambassadors. I'm not saying there's anything surefire here. The fact is, customers are customers. At the end of the day, I might just change my toothpaste for the heck of it because I like the packaging on the next toothpaste. So it's very, very challenging to achieve that degree of loyalty where I choose a brand consistently. But with the right engagement, we can get there more often than not. So, and I just want to show you a typical example of in the banking cycle, how does it happen? From applying for a credit card all the way to referring customers within a 90-day period, how can customers earn points? And you see the little lock button there, which tells a customer that every activity you do, you unlock a certain number of points. And then the customer's constantly looking forward to unlock the next set of points, which is super important for the customer. So this is one interesting way to engage users. We do this quite extensively at Gift, and I'm sure a lot of other companies do the same. Another example is, going emotional to the customer and talking about something they love. Imagine I'm a credit card user, and we ran a very successful campaign, by the way, which was themed on a different game called cricket. But similarly on football, imagine I spend on my card every time I get a chance to spin the wheel, I score a goal and I get 100 points. I get a yellow card and I get 50 points, so on and so forth. So there's excitement with the brand, and the customer starts associating emotions with the brand, and which is what you want all the time. And then, of course, we spoke about omni-channel, so I don't want to spend any more time on this. And I think what is most important is sustained and relevant engagement. Now, I just took 2 or 3 examples which are very interesting, because if I get a welcome message which is as simple and clear as this, where I say, hey, I've got 200 points because I joined the program. I need 300 points for my next $5, and here's where I can earn more points. Click there, use my card, do some transactions, and here's my balance point. So it's a great, simple, flyer that has gone. They've used the Giift really well to make it exciting and colorful. Starbucks is a great example of telling the customer upfront, where does he rank? What does he need to achieve his next reward? So there's always this sense of going after something and a sense of achievement. And then finally, someone like a Topshop who says, I want to say happy birthday to you. And they then give the customer a whole bunch of things with free shipping and incentive to buy right away, and easy to see call to action button, extra time given to the customer to redeem their products. These are all simple examples, but very powerful examples of how loyalty has been done, effectively through good and relevant engagement with the user. And finally, in summary, I think this is a very, very interesting topic, and it's an author that has written some great books, about loyalty and about how to amaze the customer, how to ensure that the customer is absolutely taken care of in a way that is disruptive and competitively better for a brand. And it's very true. I mean, loyalty, customer for a lifetime, is a myth, and very few companies in our lifetime would have achieved it. Probably Apple would go farther than most people, but it's really about making sure that the next interaction is always, pushed by the, a brand to the user. And it's always like he says, it's about the next time, every time. So that's it. I think I've just consumed every second of my 30 minutes. I thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure, though I would have loved some noise while we are talking, but thank you so much for your time. And if you have anything you want to kick around, any thoughts you have, you can come and visit the Gift digital stall at any point of time, and you'll see me parked there. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.